Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to look at my completely finished album from our cruise, and I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, I know you're thinking to yourself, how could this be different than anybody else's travel journal? Well, it probably isn't, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So, the first thing I did was when we were on the trip, if we were in a city and I found a magnet for on the refrigerator that was fun, I bought it. So this is from Amsterdam, obviously this is from Paris, and this is from London. Then I bought this from Amsterdam as well. It was a little keychain. And then I bought other keychains that had, well, I'll show you one of them. This little puffy heart from London, and then this little, one of those little telephone boxes that they have in London. Loved it. I think I said this when I showed you the making of the journal, but I figured I would really go into detail with it. What I did was I started out by making sure before I left on the trip that I had pictures of all of our animals with us on the trip. I know that's weird, but Rich and I always like to make sure that we have pictures of our animals. I bought this camera that's like an old, it's like a Polaroid, but it's made by, I think, Fuji, and it worked great. They've updated it since we bought ours, and now it has a selfie photo image on it, so when you're looking at it you can see exactly what a selfie would be, and that would have come in extremely handy, and you'll see that in a minute why it would be so handy. But frankly, you'll see in a minute, it would be great. Anyway, on the front I just glued on with hot glue and tear tape. I glued these on so that they would stay secure and for good. This was the itinerary of our cruise ship. We left out of New York, and then I put each day where we landed in a site, and like we ended, our last day was in London, and we spent an extra day in London. But anyway, that was the trip. Then if I found anything along the way that I thought was fun or interesting, I kept it. And in this case, this is from New York. This was the map, and this was where the hotel was where we stayed. I really liked the hotel. We stayed in, what was it called? It's in my notes. I write long and involved notes about every single day. So this is day one, and this was at the airport. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, if we had any kind of issues, I wrote it down, and in the first day we had all kinds of crazy things happen with Rich. And so we flew from Pittsburgh to New York City. And in New York City, obviously the Statue of Liberty, hopefully, if I'm out of camera with some of it, but not all of it, that's fine. But there's the Statue of Liberty for New York. Okay, this was day one of learning how to use that camera. And we were trying really hard to get a picture of us with the Empire State Building in the background. Again, that selfie stick would have been handy. Rich got a picture of, I don't know what there, but we thought it was funny. And then this one is a picture of his ear. We don't know why we got a picture of his ear. Then, still trying to get pictures of the Empire State Building. This is our first attempt right here. It's not anywhere in the picture. Here it is, where we gave up. I threw a couple of these out. We finally got it in the picture, but we aren't in the picture. And then the sun shifted, and we thought we could do it, and we finally got us and the Empire State Building in the picture. This is Times Square. Then this is once we got on the ship. I decided every day on the ship I would take a photo. Hopefully it's not too glary. I would take a photo of us on the ship, and if we were at sea, there should be, oh, this is the first day. Sorry, hold on. We weren't actually anywhere on day one. We were just kind of in port. And then once we got out of the harbor, then I took a picture of us every day. And here it is. When we're at sea, again, I put one of these little boats on the paper clip to show you that we're at sea. And they had these daily itinerary things that the only thing I used it for, because we basically did nothing on the ship. The only thing I used it for were these. I cut them out and I folded them around and made them a part of my journal, which I thought was fun. Then our first place we landed was in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. And so that one they had a really cute little seaport that had a little lighthouse. So there's the little lighthouse for Halifax. And this was a map of Halifax I just glued in there. And one of my viewers told me that we should go to this bakery. It's called the Gingerbread House. You were right. It was great. I loved it. Then there's a cute sign that says something like "Welcome to Halifax Seaport," and so we took a picture of that. You'll see as time goes on how I go from looking like a normal person to looking like I'm not doing too well, because 6 days in a row at sea and the 6 days in a row without having land, it was very cold. Though it was the waves were really aggressive, and when you're using a wheelchair to get around, the boat is rocking side to side and your wheelchair is basically going forwards and backwards. So at the same time, you're going side to side and forwards and backwards anywhere you're going. The first 3 days I did great. Day 4 on the water, I started getting really my arthritis. It wasn't seasickness. I was taking Dramamine and I was fine with seasickness. It was totally my arthritis. So I contacted my rheumatologist. I was already taking a lot of steroids, and I contacted her and I told her my symptoms, and I said, I think I need to restart a lot of steroids. And she agreed, so I restarted them. And I start looking better. I'm not sure. Oh, and every day at sea, you lose an hour. That is horrible. You know how in the spring, when you lose that hour and it screws you up a little bit? Well, try doing that 6 days in a row. It was really hard. Coming back and gaining it all back in one day was so much easier. I didn't have any problem adjusting to the time change when we did it all at once, but it was almost impossible when you did it one day at a time, for me. Anyway, I wrote the most dreaded sign, this time change notice. The people that worked on board, it was horrible. The whole time change thing. Then the weather, sometimes in the photos, the weather looks bad, but it's really good. And in this case, the weather looked a lot better than it was. Here's a day where we were supposed to go to Dublin, but we didn't go. And I said, I don't know why the picture's gray. It was the nicest day we had so far. So like I said, the pictures we took were really, I don't know. You didn't know what it was going to be. Dublin was a day that you take a tender, and if you don't know what that is, it's a small boat that they line up next to the cruise ship, and then they put basically a gangway, and you walk from one to the other. And I decided it was kind of choppy that day. It doesn't look choppy, but trust me, everyone that went ashore said it was really not fun doing the tender. So we didn't do it at all. We just stayed on board the ship and did nothing. And that was okay with me. Dublin was the first day that I really started feeling better. And I don't know why I have tulips on Dublin. I don't know. I had a little Irish symbol that I was going to put in there, but somehow the one for Amsterdam ended up there. I don't know. Anyway, this was when we got off in Belfast. This is Belfast City Hall. I took a small snippet video of all of our trip, so we'll probably put that out. Then this is us getting back on the ship, and this is again where that selfie would have come in handy. Welcome to, we cut out, and Northern, cut that out. So we cut out Ireland with Rich's head. I wrote right there, drat. These things happened a lot to us. You'll see it again later. So the big traumas were trying to get the Empire State Building, trying to get the Eiffel Tower, and trying to get Big Ben in our photos. It was crazy stupid how bad we were at this. But anyway, we were really bad at it. And then this is Amsterdam. Amsterdam had some good food, but all in all, Amsterdam was confusing, and we got lost a few times, and we ended up in the red light district. If you don't know what that is, it's where prostitution is legal, and that was so sad. They had big like storefront windows, and women would be in their lingerie in those storefront windows, I don't know, guess enticing people to come in, and they just looked so, I just felt so sad for them. They just looked so unhappy, and I know prostitution is legal there, but it still doesn't make it easy for these women to do this as their career, and they looked, it was just hard to watch. It was heartbreaking. Not watch. I mean, I saw one look at one of the women, and that was enough for me. I just was like, we got to get out of here. Then here is our next stop, which was Brussels. And there was this really pretty, I'll call it shopping area for chocolate. I don't know if you can see this. The whole ceiling is glass. It was really pretty. And then, okay, here is our Eiffel Tower fails. You can see there's no Eiffel Tower in there. Wait, there's more. There's no Eiffel Tower in this one either. There is no Eiffel Tower in that one. Finally, we got one little Eiffel Tower. We ate in a restaurant called La Forget. I think that's how I say it, and it was very good. And then this is the pyramid at the Louvre. That was pretty. We had, this was the dumbest thing. If I'd have known this is how long, how the Paris experience would have gone, I don't think I would have done this. But here's how it worked. It was a 3-hour drive from the seaport to Paris. We spent 3 hours in Paris, and then we rode back 3 hours. So we spent twice as much time on a bus as we spent in Paris. And the next day we went, we left the ship in Southampton in England, and our driver said, well, why didn't you just stay in Paris and then just take the train into London? It would have been a lot easier and faster. We had no clue. We just went with the itinerary. Anyway, that was kind of dumb. Anyway, this was some things I cut out. This was our excursion ticket for Paris. And there's this really cool statue that you'll see in the video. And again, Rich and I with our ability to take a selfie. You can't even see what this is, but you'll see it in the video. And then we were so tired at the end of Paris. That's how bad we look. We look bad. Then London, we loved London. Of all the places we went, London was by far our favorite. We stayed in a hotel called the Tower Hotel, and the view of it was of the tower. You can't even see this. We're standing at our hotel, and there is the bridge right there. So from our room, all you could see was that bridge. It was so beautiful. You'll see it in the video. This was the lady that took care of us on the cruise ship. She was really sweet, and so we took a picture of her because she was so nice to us. And then this is the Tower Bridge that I just cut out of a thing I found. Then we had tea, a typical English tea, and that was really fun. Really, really fun. We don't have things like that. We live in a small town. We don't have things like that. Okay, here's another thing that was amazing. They had this, and this was all our driver. He said, you need to go to this donut shop called the Donatelier. I don't know. Anyway, these are the choices of the donuts. And this is the one we got right there. It was phenomenal. I mean, I could have slathered that on my body and lived with it forever. It was the greatest thing ever. The strawberries around, it was like this high with cream, and oh, it was just the greatest. Anyway, I ate a lot of sugar on this trip. It's about all I ate. Okay, here are our Big Ben fails. I got to the point with the fails that I just started throwing them out, but I wanted to show you some of the fails. Here's one of them. Big Ben is right behind Rich's head. Big Ben, it's a teeny tiny dot in the background right there. And then I loved those telephone boxes, so of course I had to get photos of that. On our very last day, we went to their Chinatown and ate in a Chinese restaurant there that was lovely. Really great. And then, let's see if there's any more photos of that. And then I think that the rest of it is just like keepsakes. And that is the eye that's in London. We didn't do it because the day we were there, it was so overcast and raining and drizzly that it was just like home. That we were like, no, we don't need to ride that. And Rich is kind of scared of heights, so that he wasn't into it. And that building, the reason I thought that building was so cool is, you'll see it in the video of the trip, that it's right beside the Tower Bridge. So when you look past the bridge from our hotel, this is what you see, is that building. And it was just the neatest thing. So, oh wait, I told you the one thing that we always do on trips, and that is we always say the favorite things that we ate and our favorite moments. So here they are. Our 3 favorite foods. Rich's, our English tea, our British tea we had. There was a sponge cake with jam inside and cream that was really, really fabulous. Rich loved the French fries at La Frégate in, obviously in Paris. And then his third favorite was that strawberry donut. Mine, I said, oh no, I'll get to this. I'm going to get to our favorite moment in a second. My favorite foods were the vanilla cream bar we had in Amsterdam. It was like a very light donut, but it had a layer of cream on the inside and it just fell apart in your mouth. It was so wonderful. My second favorite was that sponge tea cake that Rich had as his favorite. And my third favorite was the Chinese lunch that we had in London with spring rolls and fried chicken dumplings. And I said I could have chosen all sugar things, especially considering the parting gift from our butler, that lady I talked about. She gave me this huge bowl of gummy bears that they had on board that were really good. I don't know why. I don't even really love gummy bears, but I ate so many gummy bears on that trip. It was crazy. Our favorite moment for both of us, and this is something that Rich and I guess I would say that it's something that we think is important, and that is when we see a homeless person with a dog, and we saw this man in London. We went to the closest store that would sell dog food or dog treats, and we bought a box of dog food, and we brought it back and we gave it to this man. And the smile on his face when he saw that we got food for his dog was worth $1,000,000. He was so happy. The one thing I'm really disappointed that I didn't think of is I should have used our little camera and taken a photo of him with his dog and given it to him, because I think he would have really loved that, and I wish I had done that. I'm sorry I did not, because I think that would have meant a lot to him to have a photo of he and his dog, but I didn't think of it at the time. So that was our favorite moment. We both chose the same moment because of the smile on his face, and the foods, we each varied a little bit. We did have fish and chips. The fish and chips were very good, but when you're comparing fish and chips to donuts, come on, sometimes donuts win out. And then here's from another keychain. This is a Big Ben off of a keychain that I thought was fun. And I'll just stick that on there. So that is what I think a travel journal looks like when it's done. And mine wasn't completely done when I was on the trip, but it was done within a few days after. And it wasn't the writing that wasn't done, because if you don't keep up with it every day and write down everything that you did and how it happened, and if you don't stay on top of it when you're there, you just don't finish it. And so my recommendation, if you ever have a trip that you want to remember, that you, as the days go by, let me tell you, just even cutting out these little tabs. Oh, let me tell you the things I took with me. I took a very small pair of scissors. I took glue. I took wet glue. I took Tombow Mono Aqua Glue. And let me tell you, that did not hold those photos down. So those photos, I re-glued them down several times, and then when I got home, I had to hot glue them down because they just would not stay. The other thing I would say is, if you're souvenir shopping, then souvenir shop for things that you want for your book. Like when I saw this wooden shoe, I thought that'll look so cute on the front of the book. And I hadn't really thought about what I was going to put on the front of it until I saw these different magnets for on your refrigerator. And I just thought, that's perfect for this. I have a little Big Ben that I found in addition to the Big Ben that I showed you that was colored. And then up here you can see all of them, and there are a lot of them, and they all have a meaning for the day that they represent. Like this one that has the plane, that's the day we flew home. So there is the journal. I hope that you got some good ideas and that you'll think about what you want to do on a trip of a lifetime if you go on one, or just a regular trip that you go on. I think it's a great way to commemorate something, especially if you have kids that you want photos of them at a certain stage of their life, or maybe it's a Disney trip. There's so many things you can do with this, but this is my idea of a travel journal. Everybody has their own idea, but mine is very personal to me. I want to be able to remember every day, and as you can see, I have every day that we were on the ship. I have it tagged so I know every day, and then of course I have the charms as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. You give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.